Hello everyone, and welcome back to my Tech Corner. Now, coming into the new year, I wanted to change the peripherals I was using from Corsair to Razer because they appealed to me a lot more than Corsair. I had many of Corsair's peripherals, but I just decided to stick with their coolers and power supplies and cases. So in this video, we'll be going over the peripherals I used to use, and why I don't use them anymore, and also the 3 peripherals I actually still use from them today. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video for more information. Now, kicking off this list, we have the first ever thing that I actually bought from Corsair, the K100 RGB. Now, the first thing I want to go over is when I first took it out of the box. I love how they packed it, having the keyboard protected in a plastic frame rather than in a bag, and then also having the accessories under the entire thing itself. Now, I love the fact that this thing actually came with some custom textured keycaps, and it'll let you know which key you're pressing, or just to, look cool. Now, the way this keyboard actually connects is through 2 USB ports, and the reason why is because it actually has a USB extension. Therefore, it requires another USB cable to actually be able to power that extension. But then something else about this keyboard has to be the fact that it was extremely easy to set up. It's basically just plug in and play. And this thing actually already has a few preset modes in this keyboard, but sadly I deleted them, and I actually might re-download them for this video. Now, the deal about this keyboard is, oh my goodness, the insane RGB lighting. This keyboard has so many lighting zones. In front of it, on the sides, the top, the little ring right there, like it's insane how much RGB is on this keyboard. I've never seen so much on one keyboard. Now, I really do like making my different lighting effects on this keyboard, because honestly it just makes it shine so much and it really makes it look super beautiful. And then also something else about this keyboard is the fact that it has a rotating dial that can switch, brightness control, track jogging, zoom, so much more. It also has multimedia keys, and of course 6 dedicated macro keys to choose from. So this keyboard definitely has a lot in store for when you buy it. Now, the switches that this keyboard uses is Cherry MX Speed, and when I use these switches, they were super fast, they have minimal force required to push them down, and the RGB through the transparent case definitely looks super beautiful. Now, here's where my problems come in. The switches on this keyboard are way too sensitive, and they require so little to push them down. I would rest, say, my thumb on the spacebar and it'll get pushed, or I would rest my finger on the W key and it'll get pushed. Also, they're way too quiet. I like clicks, so I feel like I should have looked into that before purchasing this K100. Another thing about this thing is the giant black bar in the middle. Just having the Corsair logo there makes it look super tacky. And I wish that maybe they could have added like a OLED or LCD screen here. And something else is the fact that this thing is a dust magnet. The keyboard is pretty, and most of the time you'll just spend cleaning it instead of actually using it. This is definitely not the case for my Huntsman Mini. And then also, something else about this keyboard is just the giant tacky cable that comes out from the rear. Now, yes, this keyboard does have 2 required connections, so it's kind of understandable why it's so big. Just, the deal about it is I wish that it maybe wasn't in the middle, and maybe that it was on the side, or maybe you're able to move it, or hell, even if it was able to be detached, that would have been awesome. Like in my Huntsman Mini, you're able to have it on the side and remove it, but sadly it's only permanently on the side. But overall, this is a very nice keyboard and a very fancy keyboard, and will always have a nice place in my collection. Now, moving on to our next peripheral, the K65 RGB Mini. Now, it being packed the same way as the K100, it was nice to see a little plastic part on top of the keyboard protecting it, with of course all the accessories and extras under the product itself. Now, because the pudding keycaps look nice on this keyboard, I kept them on since the last time I touched it, which was when I bought the Huntsman Mini. Now, being a 60% form factor keyboard, it doesn't have many features like the K100 does, but it has features that you might have not known about, like macro recording, or mouse movements using the keys, or profile switching with a press of a button. This keyboard, being at 60%, has full-size keyboard potential, even without the software. Now, something that I thought was pretty cute was the little radiant spacebar and the little Corsair logo for the escape key. It adds nice little details, and it makes the keyboard look adorable and cool at the same time. The fact that the plastic sheet covering the board itself adds a really nice touch to the RGB, It makes it shine more than most 60% keyboards out there. Now, the key switches that this keyboard uses is Cherry MXB, the same one as the K100, but for some reason the switches used on this keyboard sound a lot more tactile and it sounds like it doesn't have a dampener, which I really like, so go ahead and take a listen. Now, the things that I really don't appreciate about this keyboard has to be the fact that it's stuck at a permanent angle. This can get really uncomfortable when I'm trying to type or play a game. My Huntsman Mini, on the other hand, has adjustable feet, which I like a lot. And another thing that I really don't like about this keyboard is the same problem with the K100. And I'm pretty sure it's just with any keyboard that uses the Cherry speed. But it's the fact that the keys are super sensitive, and I can't really rest my fingers on it without it registering as me pressing something. So in my opinion, the three things I liked about this keyboard has to be how customizable it is, the little here and there details, and the fact that it's super small and portable. But hey, this keyboard isn't for me, but other people might like it. So for now, it stays in my collection. Now moving on to the most disliked peripheral I've honestly ever owned from Corsair, their MM700 extended mousepad. Now going back a few months when I actually made a video on this, at the time I really liked it. Then a few weeks later it started wrinkling up. A lot. So I tried a few things to soften it down, even ironing the pad, and still nothing. So I tried contacting Corsair about it, because on the box and the receipt it said that it has a 2-year warranty. And they swiftly denied me and said that it was out of warranty. Then they closed my RMA. Any attempts on trying to make a new RMA had the same results. So this just shows that not all products from Corsair are good. So the things I really don't like about this mousepad has to be the wrinkles, the little whining noise that the head of the mousepad actually makes, and the barely there brightness for the RGB. But until anything, I guess, happens, this will always remain in my collection. Now, moving on to the Corsair Dark Core Pro SE. Now this mouse is honestly amazing compared to some of the competition that I've seen. But first, let's go ahead and look at the way they packed it. I really do like how secure they made the packaging. And the mouse is in a very tight fit with the plastic bit covering it. And under it was of course the accessories also protected. And the way it unfolded when I took it out of the box was super cool. Now looking at the mouse itself, the first thing I want to go over has to be the changeable finger rest on the left side of the mouse. This was super comfortable for my fingers, and it made it so that my fingers don't touch the mousepad and mess me up during a game. And behind the finger rest was actually where you store the mouse dongle, which is also really neat. And the little dongle is USB, and it takes little to no space, so this is perfect for on-the-go gaming. Something else about this mouse has to be the buttons. The two side buttons are fully programmable, and is very useful in some of the games that I play. And the RGB on this mouse is honestly outstanding. And it looks really amazing and is super bright with everything else. And the fact that each LED is addressable is really cool. And it adds for a lot of customability. Now the battery life on this mouse is insane. 48 hours is a long time with full brightness RGB and non-stop usage. And yes, I tested it. It lasts a long time. The only two things I didn't like about this mouse would have to be it randomly disconnecting and how small it was. So in my opinion, for 90 bucks, this mouse is really good, and is honestly one of my most loved items in my collection. Alrighty guys, now we're moving on to the three things that I actually still use from Corsair. My opinions on them, why I still use them, what they can improve on, and how they have to be the coolest things Corsair has actually put on the market. Now moving on to the first item on this list, the Corsair ST100 RGB. Now to many this headset stand seemed very underwhelming, overpriced, and just a ripoff compared to the competition. But to me, this is one of the coolest I've ever owned. Let's go ahead and start with the sheer simplicity of it. It's so simple and minimalist. Now even though my setup is far from minimalist, I like having such a simple device on my desk. And seeing it whenever I walk into my room holding my headset is honestly a treat. The RGB on it is soft and quiet, and is far from distracting whenever I'm in an intense battle. And some of the lighting effects look really amazing. especially with the custom ones I make for it. One of my favorite parts about this headset has to be the fact that it has a built-in sound card, just in case your headset is garbage, or if you have like a pair of speakers that you want to make some use out of. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Corsair really does need to work on their surround sound, especially their headsets, but their stereo on the sound card sounds really neat. This thing has a massive non-slip bass. It even has dual USB 3.0 ports, so you'll always have extra. So in my opinion, I found it very much worth the money I used for this, because this has to be one of the coolest items on my desk. Now, moving on to the second to last thing on this list, the Corsair Virtuoso wireless. Now, at first when I bought this headset for the price, I was a little skeptical, but after using it for a few months, I had to say that it was very much worth it. Corsair made a pretty fancy looking gaming headset that doesn't even need to be used for gaming. It could be used for style, on-the-go music, or just to flex on your friends if you're really that evil. This headset stereo is very neat, and it sounds amazing, even though the surround sound sounds absolutely terrible. And I really like being able to change the acoustics on their IQ software. The RGB on this headset is very bright, transitions from color to color very smoothly, and it honestly looks super neat. It has multiple levels of adjustment, and the headband and ear cups on this headset are very comfortable and super easy to clean. I love the aluminum frame that this thing has. It's super fancy, and it just makes me feel like I'm in a gaming tournament whenever I put it on. And the dongle it connects to is also really cool. It matches the headset, and it doesn't look like just the simple stubby dongle that I see all the time. It's fancy, and it has a cute little Corsair logo when the headset is in wireless mode. The microphone is also very detachable, and it sounds really good for a headset. In fact, I've actually been using it for this entire video. I'd say the only thing that this headset really needs to work on is maybe not having a giant black panel with just the Corsair logo on either side of the ear cups. Maybe add a few more things like addressable RGB lines, or hell, even maybe an LCD screen. Another thing that I don't like has to be the battery life. RGB on or off, it lasts 20 minutes, not 20 hours. But overall, this is a nice headset to have, and I really do like it a lot. Now on to the last item on this list, the Corsair Sword RGB. So I reviewed this mouse with the Core SE in a previous video, so if you want to learn more about it, go ahead and check it out. But ever since I bought this mouse to review it, I couldn't stop using it. It's very big and heavy, it has adjustable weights, programmable buttons all over it, and of course the RGB, though it's not really addressable. But that's not the reason why I bought this mouse. I expressed my full opinion about this mouse in a separate video, so I'll leave a card up. But for now, this is my main mouse, and I'm really happy to use it every day. Alrighty guys, that'll have to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked this video, go ahead and leave a like, dislike if you didn't, comment down below what you guys thought about different peripherals that I put into this video. I'll be sure to leave the links to those peripherals in the description below. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're really awesome. We are only 10 away from 100. This is really exciting. This is a huge milestone for my channel, and I really do appreciate all the support and all the help that everybody subscribed has been giving me, and I really do appreciate all the comments and all the little details that you guys provide. It's really helpful, and I really do like you guys as my audience. Now keep in mind, most of the things that I said in this video are opinions. Any fact that I did say in this video I will keep in the description below, and then I'll also leave the links of the different items on the Corsair website in the description below if you guys want to go ahead and check them out. Who knows, maybe you'll like them. But that'll have to do it for this video. Alright, so I'll go ahead and see you guys in the next one.